In the world of drill, loyalty is a currency that can get you. 1 minute you're repping your block, the next you're a diss track hook. A single act of disrespect can ignite a war that burns through entire crews, leaving a trail of bodies from Baton Rouge to Chicago. For these rappers, the line between the booth and the block is non-existent. Their lyrics aren't just stories, they're indictments, threats, and sometimes confessions. This is the cycle of drill, where every verse could be your last. NBA YoungBoy versus G-Money. In Baton Rouge, a brotherhood between two of the city's most promising rappers, NBA YoungBoy and G-Money, was shattered. It wasn't a dispute over turf or money that ignited the war between their crews, NBA and TBG. It was a song about YoungBoy's sister, a line crossed that could only be answered with violence. Before the fallout, Cantrell NBA YoungBoy Galden and Garrett G-Money Burton were moving as a unified force. Their respective camps, YoungBoy's Never Broke Again and G-Money's Top Boy Gorilla, were once allies navigating the city's rap scene. Fredo Bang, a core member of TBG, later confirmed their shared history, admitting that while he hadn't spoken to YoungBoy since 2015, they were once tight.
Together have
I ain't got no problem.
Nope.
I ain't got no problem. I'm good. I said it in the Vlad interview. I'll do a song.
Together, they were poised to put Baton Rouge on the map, but one deeply personal insult brought it all down. The breaking point came when G-Money dropped a track with what law enforcement would later describe in an arrest warrant as derogatory lyrics about NBA YoungBoy's sister. In the unforgiving code of the streets, family is off limits. Although G-Money tried to downplay the beef in an interview with Say Cheese TV, claiming YoungBoy had just got the big head after his rise to fame, the authorities saw the song as the clear motive for the murder that would follow.
He wasn't really tripping on it back then, though, you know what I'm saying? He be calling me big brother and shit, you hear me? I guess he just let that fame and shit get to his head. Now he feel like he just whoever.
The conflict was no longer about music, it was personal. The war immediately spilled onto social media, where both rappers exchanged threats. Detectives noted that in the days leading up to both artists made several social media posts about one another, which further exacerbated tensions between the two rival rap music groups. YoungBoy didn't waste time responding on wax, dropping the diss track Danger, where he took aim at both G-Money and Fredo Bang, making it clear the entire TBG crew was now the opposition. With the lines officially drawn, the clock was ticking for G-Money. On September 10th, 2017, the beef reached its fatal climax. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Garrett Burton was found in the parking lot outside of his music studio in Baton Rouge. He was just 22 years old and on the verge of a major breakthrough, reportedly days away from signing a deal with Atlantic Records. The hit was clean and sent an unmistakable message. Given the public nature of their feud, suspicion immediately fell on YoungBoy's NBA crew. For nearly 2 years, the case went cold. Then, in June 2019, the law made its move. A close affiliate of YoungBoy, DeAndre NBA Pap Fields, was arrested and later indicted on a second-degree charge for the of G-Money. The details in the arrest warrant confirmed what the streets had known all along. The motive was the beef over YoungBoy's sister. Detectives had discovered shell casings at a separate scene that were a perfect ballistics match to the casings found at G-Money's scene. They believed that after the hit, Pap had arranged to rid himself of the firearm that G-Money by giving it to another group to use, a common tactic to dispose of. While YoungBoy's attorney publicly denied he had any involvement, the indictment of one of his closest day ones left little doubt about the origins of the hit. Lil Durk and King Von versus Quando Rondo. On November 6, 2020, outside an Atlanta hookah lounge, a fistfight between two rap crews exploded into. When the chaos subsided, Davon King Von Bennett, Chicago drill's most formidable storyteller and a key figure in Lil Durk's OTF, Only the Family, was. A war between OTF and the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips, represented by Quando Rondo, had officially begun, and it was all caught on camera. The incident was captured on surveillance footage, leaving no room for speculation. According to reports from TMZ, Quando Rondo was sleeping in a car outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge when he was awakened by King Von and his OTF crew angrily approaching him and his associates. The footage clearly shows Von as the initial aggressor, throwing punches at Quando before any weapons were drawn. As the brawl erupted, Quando's associate, Lil Tim Leaks, pulled a and opened, striking King Von with fatal. In the chaotic aftermath, the surveillance video showed Quando Rondo helping Lil Tim get to the hospital, a stark demonstration of the street code. Loyalty to comes first.
Breathe a bit, boy. Just keep breathing, cuz.
Hold on, you can't move him that fast.
You got it,
bro.
my fault.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you mean wrong side. Come on, please, come on, all right.
Okay.
Get him a wheelchair.
For 2 weeks, as the internet buzzed with rumors, Quando remained silent. Then, he dropped his official statement in the song End of Story. On the track, he laid out his version of events, framing the as self-defense. He rapped, "My man ain't do nothing wrong, and if your man said the same, you need to stop with him," offering unapologetic support for Lil Tim, who is now facing a charge. He was speaking directly to the streets, justifying the according to their laws. But in the streets, the death of a figure like King Von requires get back, regardless of who threw the first punch. On August 19th, 2022, it came. Quando Rondo and his cousin Lil Pob were ambushed at a gas station in Los Angeles. A hail of tore through their vehicle, and Lil Pob was immediately. Rumors swirled that the hit was an inside job. Word on the street was that Brick Baby, a fellow member of the Rollin' 60s Crips, had backdoored Quando by giving his location to Lil Durk's camp. The violence had now drawn the attention of federal law enforcement. In a stunning development, Lil Durk himself was implicated in for hire indictment out of California. Prosecutors alleged that Durk had helped orchestrate and fund the scheme to open on Quando Rondo. The indictment named a co-conspirator for, widely believed to be Brick Baby, as the individual who provided the location of Rondo and his crew in LA. The feds claimed Durk had put a bounty on Rondo's head, and that OTF members flew from Chicago to California to carry out the hit, with their flights and hotels paid for by accounts linked to Durk. What started as a parking lot brawl had spiraled into a multi-state war involving backdoors, get back, and a federal RICO investigation. King Von versus FBG Duck. On August 4th, 2020, FBG Duck 16 times and while shopping for his son's birthday present. The hit didn't happen on a dark corner of the South Side. It took place in broad daylight in Chicago's most luxurious neighborhood, the Gold Coast, allegedly over a $100,000 bounty put on his head by his chief rival, King Von. This beef was the front line of a war between two of Chicago's most powerful gang alliances.
Very rapid fire. There was no stop. It was very, very scary.
King Von was the face of O-Block, a notorious set of the Black Disciples, BDs. FBG Duck was a leader in STL/EBT, a rival faction of the Gangster Disciples, GDS. Their conflict was saga played out in songs and on the streets. The war was largely fueled by music. In 2017, FBG Duck released Slide, a track that became a viral anthem for his side. The lyrics, "Cause if you gon' slide, then slide then," were a direct challenge to OTF and O-Block. But the beef reached a point of no return with Duck's song, Dead Bitches. In the track, he viciously disrespected deceased members of O-Block by name, rapping, "I did it, but Roy and OD." This act of supreme disrespect is believed by many to have sealed his fate. Federal investigators later stated that the diss tracks between Duck and O-Block artists directly fueled violence on the streets. According to court testimony, the hit on Duck was set in motion by a single phone call. An O-Block affiliate, THFTZ, spotted Duck shopping in the Gold Coast and falsely claimed that Duck was chasing him with a That was all it took. A carload of O-Block members immediately drove to the upscale neighborhood to FBG Duck. At 4:26 p.m., the plan was executed with precision. 2 cars, a silver Chrysler 300 and a black Ford Fusion, cornered Duck on the sidewalk. 4 jumped out and fired 38 shots in 12 seconds. Duck was struck 16 times. Police body cam footage captured his final moments on the pavement. When an officer asked him where he was hit, he replied, "Everywhere." His last words were a desperate plea, "Help."
Chicago drill rapper FBG Duck was on a crowded Gold Coast street.
After deliberating for 2 days, the jury of 5 men and 7 women reached their decision. It's video that was shared all over social media August 4th of 2020 when Chicago drill rapper FBG Duck while shopping on Oak Street in the Gold Coast. After 3 years and 5 months, 6 members of a rival violent street gang were convicted on federal racketeering and murder charges.
They did something so obviously crazy that they deserve to get caught.
Federal prosecutors laid out the case that went on for more than 3 months.
when I go home and tell my grandkids that their father justice has been served, that's gonna be a big burden lifted off my shoulders.
Showing the O Block gang publicly claimed responsibility for their violence and used social media and music to increase their criminal enterprise.
Okay, I did it.
This song, titled FBG Duck, whose real name is Carlton Weekly, was played in open court. The video was put out 3 weeks before his. Prosecutors say this intensified the gang feud.
I just want to thank the United States government for doing a very good job on making sure that these guys would never hurt another mom or another child again.
He was pronounced Northwestern Memorial Hospital just 40 minutes after the began. The brazenness of the murder brought intense federal scrutiny. In October 2021, the FBI arrested 5 alleged members of O Block: Charles C. Murda Liggins, Kenneth Kenny Mac Robertson, Carlos Loss Offord, Christopher C. Thang Thomas, and Marcus Opps Smart. They were hit with federal charges of murder in aid of racketeering. The government's case treated O Block not as a loose collection of individuals, but as a criminal enterprise. The prosecution used the rapper's own social media posts, music videos, and lyrics as evidence of a conspiracy. The strategy worked. All 5 members were convicted and sentenced to life in prison, sending a chilling message to the entire drill scene. Your music and your clout can and will be used against you in federal court. Yungin Ace versus Julio Foolio. In Jacksonville, Florida, a rap beef became a viral sensation. Yungin Ace and Julio Foolio took their war to the charts, sampling pop songs by Vanessa Carlton and Fantasia to create some of the most disrespectful diss tracks ever recorded. The war between Ace's ATK, Ace's Top, and Foolio's KTA, all factions ignited in tragedy. On June 5th, 2018, Yungin Ace was the sole survivor of a quadruple that claimed the lives of his brother, Trevon, 23 Bullard, and 2 of his close friends, Jerkaby Groover and Royale Smith Jr. Ace himself 8 times. In the aftermath, Charles Julio Foolio Jones and his KTA crew took to social media to publicly mock the celebrating the tragedy and taunting Ace for his loss. For Ace, this turned grief into a desire for revenge. The beef went nuclear in 2021 with the release of Who I Smoke by Yungin Ace, Spinabins, Wappa Wit Da Choppa, and Fast Money Goon. The track flipped the iconic piano riff from Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles into a drill anthem. The song's hook is a roll call of KTA members, with the rappers disrespectfully asking, "Who I smoke?" before naming their fallen ops. Who I smoke? Who? Bibby. Who I smoke? Who? Techie. Who I smoke? Who? Lil 9. The song became a TikTok trend, with millions singing along to a list. This put immense pressure on Julio Foolio to respond with equal force. Foolio fired back with When I See You, a track that sampled Fantasia's R&B hit When I See You. He matched Ace's energy and disrespect, dissing Ace's brother and friends by name and taunting him about the 2018 he rapped, went out to eat on his birthday, 3 in the worst way. He kept dissing on me. What happened? Now we smoking 23 inches. The musical back and forth was a masterclass in modern drill warfare, weaponizing viral marketing to sell their real-life conflict to a global audience. After surviving multiple previous attempts on his life, Julio Foolio's luck finally ran out. On June 23, 2024, he was in Tampa celebrating his 26th birthday. After being kicked out of an Airbnb, he and his crew checked into a local Holiday Inn. At around 5 a.m., as they were in the hotel parking lot, Foolio was ambushed by He was on the spot. The drill world waited to see how Yungin Ace would react. They didn't have to wait long. Just hours after Foolio was pronounced, Yungin Ace dropped a new song titled Game Over. The timing was audacious, but the lyrics appeared to reference the hit with chilling specificity. 5 in the morning, I got a call. What is this? 4 in the car and one of them 3 got hit. The song was widely interpreted as a direct claim of victory, a final brutal diss track in a war that had left a trail of bodies across Florida. Herbo versus KTS Dre. On July 10th, 2021, KTS Dre was released from the Cook County Jail, fitted with an ankle monitor. He didn't get far. An ambush was waiting for him, and in a matter of seconds, he was hit with 64 bullets, executed right on the jail's doorstep. The beef was between Herbo's crew, NLMB, and KTS. which stands for cutthroat. The rivalry was particularly deep-seated. KTS is a hardline faction of the Gangster Disciples. NLMB, short for No Limit Muskegon Boys, is a unique and powerful alliance formed from the merger of two renegade factions of historic enemies. No Limit, from the almighty Black P Stone Nation, and the Muskegon Boys, from the Gangster Disciples. This hybrid identity made NLMB a formidable force, but it also placed them in direct conflict with traditional GD sets like KTS. KTS Dre was no stranger to the law. At the time of his he was out on bond for a 2020 felony charge. He had recently been taken back into custody after prosecutors filed a petition alleging he had violated the conditions of his bail. On Friday, July 9th, 2021, he was able to post the required $5,000 bond for his release. He was processed and set free the following evening, walking out of the jail and directly into a trap. His ops knew his legal situation, knew his release date, and were waiting for him. At 8:50 p.m. on that Saturday night, Dre and a 60-year-old woman who was with him were walking from the jail towards a waiting vehicle on West 27th Street. Suddenly, two separate cars pulled up. Multiple exited both vehicles and unleashed a coordinated and overwhelming barrage of Dre was the clear target. He was struck an astonishing 64 times, with wounds to his head and all over his body. The police report described it as a targeted hit. After the were done, they calmly got back into their respective vehicles and fled in different directions. The sheer brutality of the act was shocking, but the location was what made it a terrifying message. No arrests have ever been made. The kid vanished without a trace, and the street's powerful code of silence has ensured that no one has come forward with information. Bloodhound Lil Jeff versus Trap City Rob. A rising Chicago rapper, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, was robbed by his own homies. He got his revenge by them, then dropped a song confessing to the entire thing. But the cycle of get back is relentless, and just weeks later, he was down by the very crew he was hunting next. Lil Jeff had built strong ties with BKN, also known as Nitty Block, a set with connections to the West Side. He was seen as one of them, chilling on their block and showing love on social media. But that loyalty was a one-way street. Two BKN members, Monty and Lil Rob, decided to backdoor him in what was called one of the most disrespectful robberies in recent Chicago history. While in an apartment lobby, they asked to see Jeff's chain. Trusting his own people, he handed it over. In a flash, they ran off with it. The disrespect didn't end there. It was amplified for the world to see. Just days after the robbery, Monty appeared in a vlog and FaceTimed Lil Jeff, laughing and brazenly flexing the stolen watch on camera. On the other end of the line, Jeff was furious, trying to get their location. This public taunt was a fatal mistake.
If I get mad enough to start happening, y'all know this by now.
Tell the ops, stop wearing that, stop wearing that fake.
50K. I went black for like a week, and poof. Gotta go. I don't live them niggas though.
On January 26th, 2024, only 6 days after the video dropped, Get Back came. Two cars pulled up on Monty and Lil Rob as they were walking near their high school during their lunch break. Masked hopped out and opened fire both in the middle of the street. 3 weeks later, Lil Jeff dropped his biggest song, Ah, which served as a musical confession. The lyrics left no doubt about his involvement. He rapped, "They did what they did, so they had to pay the consequence," a clear reference to the robbery. He detailed the hit itself, saying, "We hopped out with 4 poles and 2 got hit." But the most incriminating line was a direct taunt aimed at his victim. "When I speak, it's only facts." He was screaming, "Ah," when he got hit, a reference to a viral video that showed Monty on the ground screaming after being shot. Feeling untouchable after avenging the robbery, Lil Jeff went on another drill, this time targeting a rival crew, Trap City. He pulled up on their block and spotted a member named Trap City Glenn chasing him up the porch of a house, but Jeff had run straight into a trap. Waiting for him was Trap City Rob. As Jeff came up the steps, Rob blicked him, ending his short and violent reign on the streets. With Lil Jeff dead, he would never face charges for the murder of Monty and Lil Rob. Instead, authorities arrested his affiliate, Bloodhound T Slick, for the double homicide. It is widely believed that if Lil Jeff had survived his final slide, his own lyrics in Ah would have been the primary evidence used by prosecutors to send him to prison for life. If you like this video, click one of the windows on either side to watch a video similar to this one.